Hi everyone, it's Amanda here. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Rather than talking about our personal homeschooling journey, how things are going, curriculum, that sort of thing, I want to take a big picture look at the state of education, particularly looking at what the innovations are and what's coming on the horizon for schools or for parents that some of you might not be aware of. I think it's a really exciting time to be a parent, to have children, to be involved in education in one way or another, because the straitjackets that really required everything to be done the same way are slowly beginning to break apart. There are a number of innovations that are taking place right now which show me that in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even sooner than that, there's a whole lot of things which are on the fringes right now which will become way more mainstream, and they will give parents more choice, they will give children more flexibility, they will basically bring a whole lot more freedom into the educational experience. I think that's a really good thing. So I'm going to quickly run through 6 examples of innovation that is happening in the education sector that is not primarily happening in the traditional school system or that is happening in the state school system. So first up is School of Humanity. So this is a fairly recent school. They are a global online school. So children are put into, well, first of all, they call them learners. So learners are put into cohorts based on their time zone. It's an online school, so they're doing a lot of Zoom meetings and various other online tools. So first of all, their classmates are people from around the world, but they're in their same time zone. Secondly, they follow more of a challenge-based or project-based approach. So rather than learning discrete subjects, i.e. maths, English, art, science, they take a real-world challenge and then they try and explore that challenge from multiple different angles. It's a private school, but it is considerably cheaper than many other private schools. Students graduate with the US high school diploma qualification, and they work with the Mastery Transcript Consortium to enable a high school diploma that follows this approach, and I'll come back to that at the end. Okay, so the next innovation is also a school. This is the world's first traveling school called Think Global. So imagine a boarding school that travels around the whole world. So imagine that you are learning about marine biology, but you're also snorkeling the Great Barrier Reef in the process, or you're learning about ancient Greece and you are going to Greece. This is also a private school. It's a lot more expensive than the School of Humanity, mainly because of all the travel. So you're literally going around multiple continents and the students are having to sleep and eat and board and all of that, flights. So that's where a lot of the cost comes in. Innovation is called Century, and there's probably multiple products out there like this, but Century is the one that I've looked into the most. And it's basically it's a UK developed online AI empowered learning tool that teaches the children the core national curriculum in maths and English and some sciences all the way up to GCSE level. So it includes teaching and assessment, and it's all built in. Some schools, a lot of private schools and independent schools, utilize Century in the classroom, but a lot of homeschoolers actually use Century at home and they pay for that, and it's not that expensive at all. Certainly a lot cheaper than sending your child to a private school. The next innovation is actually another school. This is one in the UK called Portland Place, and they're based in London. They're a private school. Students now have the option to enroll in what they call hybrid school, where they spend 4 days a week learning at home, learning online, and then 1 day a week they go into school for more hands-on interactive subjects like art, sport, that sort of thing. This kind of school model is showing us that the one-size-fits-all doesn't fit everybody. There are a lot of students who actually don't like to spend 5 days a week with a crowd of people. Some people are just naturally introverted and would rather spend more time on their own, but do still want to get out and be part of a community. So schools like Portland Place are actually exploring what a hybrid school model would look like, where you do some learning online at home, but then you come together once a week to do physical in-person learning. No reason why that kind of hybrid model couldn't be replicated in so many different diverse ways. And I fully expect that more and more schools will begin to do that. Okay, the next innovation in education is the London Interdisciplinary School, and this is actually a university. So when you enroll in the London Interdisciplinary School, instead of choosing a major and a minor in a normal university course, you might enroll to do engineering, or you might enroll to do maths or medicine. At this university, it's all about taking, again, real world problems and learning about them from an interdisciplinary perspective. What's really exciting about this kind of university is there's a whole suite of companies and industries, organizations that need people who are not silo in their thinking in terms of just, an expert in one thing, but who are really good at problem solving and being creative, taking in mind the broad spectrum of what's involved in solving that problem. It also means that they don't really need the same specialism in terms of subject knowledge that a traditional university might need, which means when you feed back to the secondary school level and even the primary school level, students don't have to follow the same precise pathway. I firmly believe that the university sector is actually going to have a massive overhaul. It's going to be completely deconstructed. Technology is going to completely upend it the way that it has done so many other industries. The university straitjacket, which really strangles schools because they're all trying to achieve a certain result so that the students can get into university, as that begins to break down, it's going to allow a wave of innovation and creativity to break into the secondary school sector and the primary school sector. Okay, another innovation that's happening, again, outside the school system and outside the state-run school system is Khan Academy, who have just pioneered Khan Migo, which is their AI assistant to help with learning. If you don't know about Khan Academy already, they are an online learning platform. They're completely free. They have close to 100 million users. They have a core curriculum of maths, which goes from kindergarten all the way up to the final stages of secondary school. They also have grammar, economics, a whole suite of sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, that sort of thing. And their mission is to bring a world-class education to anyone, anywhere, for free, which I think is fantastic, particularly for those students in more developing countries or people who can't access a private school. All they need is a laptop and an internet connection, and they can access a high-quality education. Khan Academy have been working really hard to harness the best of artificial intelligence whilst mitigating the worst of it, and they've come up with their AI assistant called Khan Migo, and that has recently launched in the US to a small number of families. What all this is showing us, and there's probably way more, but that's just a snapshot, is that now is the time for taking risks. There really is no need to feel that we have to narrow our children down to all learning exactly the same thing in exactly the same way, because there are far more opportunities to do things differently now. There's a lot of processes that can be scaled through artificial intelligence. And the development of the Mastery Transcript Consortium in the US, I think, is absolutely fantastic, and I firmly believe that the demand for that will grow and become global. What that means is that you could develop essentially a portfolio of learning and achieve a qualification with that portfolio, rather than having to learn a precise curriculum and then be tested on it and simply get a grade. Now, I'm not saying that it's straightforward and easy, but what it is showing is that there are people who are pioneering different forms of assessment, and when you have different forms of assessment, you can have different forms of learning. As a parent, that gets me really excited because it makes me feel like the doors are open. You know, the world is open. There's not just one way to do something. If my local school is not going to suit my child, I can find another way. If home education isn't going to suit me, but I don't want to put them into that school, there's going to be a way that I can do it. There are more tools coming to the hands of parents than there have ever been before. So now is the time to search, look around, and begin to demand more, demand better. If you are not happy with the sort of education that is on offer from the government, consider taking it into your own hands one way or another, because the cost of private education is coming down because of technology. It's enabling things to be scaled. I hope that's some encouragement. Please put in the comments any other innovations that you're aware of and your thoughts on what's coming in the future of education. Bye for now.